I remember as a child how my mother loved to dress in her Samoan clothes on a Friday night, all bright colours against a yellow bulb. Us kids restless but indulged for the time being on the couch, a family block of chocolate our payment as audience. She made maps through music, transiting us to an island far away, flowers falling from riotous vine, the ocean speaking in shells found along the shore. She raised her hands into the air, as if warding off the darkness, and curled them to make smoke, or birds taking flight. And my imagination took flight with them. Her song's a passport for me to travel. And night is a tunnel through which we all must pass. This tunnel, like memory itself, is where the world reignites and fuses with oxygen. This tunnel is where danger lies, but also the opportunity for beauty.
The reason I wanted to do FUNPARK is I've grown up with thinking and people telling me that my community and my stories aren't important as other stories, and so it's taken me a long time for me to go, you know, my story is really important, for me to have the confidence to do that. Places like the Bronx and places like Brooklyn, they look like, you know, Bidwill, and there's so many stories. Artists have told those stories, but we in Australia don't value those stories in the same way.
I'm Wayne. I've been living in Mount Druitt since 1972. When I first moved into Shelby, which is the next suburb down, Bidwill used to be a pig farm. All this was all bushland, you know, like you had the Italians. We all used to come up and crack on his builders and get chased off his property. You know, we used to go and tip cows over at night.
What does it mean to tip cows over?
And walk up and tip them over.
What do you mean?
You tip them over, you knock them off their feet. The cows sleep standing up. They never sleep. You walk up and grab their feet and pull them from underneath them.
What would happen to the cow when you tipped it over?
They'd wake up and have a shit.
When I was growing up, we had, like, all the youth centres were just opening. We had one here at Bidwill, we had one at Shelby, one at Emerton, and the only one that's left now is Shelby. You know what I mean? Like, there's two centres that have closed down basically for like youth centres where they could go hang out, play basketball and things like that. They had all little sports things going in that. And now they've got the one.
My people are Stradbroke Island people. I'm a Noongar, Noongar woman. And I left Queensland at the age of 20. I had a child at that time. And I married an Indian and he wanted to come to Sydney. 10 days old my son was, and we were going to Sydney.
Well, I grew up, I lived here in Bidwill when I was 5 and 6. Then I went to Marlong. I lived out at Galston Way, Dural, back up to Marlong, lived in Riverston.
So you moved around a lot as a kid?
Yeah, and as an adult. Like I lived in Queensland, Wagga, in and out of Mount Druitt, Wilberforce, Windsor, like all over the countryside. But now I've got my own kids and everything else, I've got to have a stable place to stay. That's the only reason why I haven't decided to move or go anywhere. Well, why would you move when it's peace and quiet?
Come down here to Sydney and I started my life down here. It was hard, away from my people. That was hard to accept and hard to live because I had to learn all the language down here. The Koori language to the Murray language is totally different.
Right, I'm Michelle and I've been living in Bidwill for 3.5 years. I've lived practically all over Australia. I moved back to the Mount Druitt area after breaking up with an ex-husband, and we sold our house in Portland. And I had no place to go except Mount Druitt to rent. And I ended up here with Housing Commission.
Bad news in the western suburbs is easy to sell. regardless of whether it's true or not. The people of Bidwill haven't forgotten the lies perpetrated in their name for the sake of a news story and a headline. The frustration born from having little or no voice is palpable here. Their stories need to be heard.
My memories of the Bidwill riot, like I would have been about 13 or 14 at the time. But yeah, we were all down here. There was a big gathering. Yeah, fair enough, it was going to be a fight between two people. I think it was like two girls over a boy back then. But as kids normally do, everybody crowds down to have a watch. And then it was mainly constructed by the journalists. They wanted things done, and that's what the kids were asked to do, and we did, basically. I can remember the journalists and that revving us all up and asking us to do this and asking, even down to shaking the helicopters. You know what I mean? Like, that was a thing that was asked to be done, not us kids going off crazy doing, like, just shaking the hell out of a helicopter. Now, mate, when I was growing up, like, I come from a single parent family. Now, my mother's only 5 foot nothing, but if I ever did anything like that, she'd flog me.
There's crap no matter where you go. Wherever you go, if you look for trouble, you'll find it. And in certain areas, there's more trouble. The only problem is, I wouldn't exactly call it a problem, the one factor is that Bidwill's been a target for many years. And no one's really addressed it because no one's really cared about it. And this comes down to the fact that the people in the area need to care. And they do. They're just not given enough, how do you put this, support. They're not given enough backing because of the stigma to actually make a decent change in the area or really put forward a good effort.
You can see that it's complex and you can see that there's problems, but you can also see that there's a lot of joy and there's a lot of great people here, you know. And you see the whole, you know, spectrum of it, and then you can make a decision about what you think about it, you know, by being here and meeting people, not by seeing it on the TV or reading about it in the newspaper. Because definitely the media has had a profound effect on my life in relationship to where I live, and a profound effect on destroying the reputation of this community, and it's just not fair. It's not, you know, it's not okay.
Well, you got the police watching us, he's watching the police. Comes down the old saying, he's watching the watcher. You know, like an instant would happen with me, I got thrown through the fence out front of my own house because someone done a home invasion. I was going outside, I had one of Josh's mates staying at the time, and I go to the bank at 12 o'clock, get my money out, you know, and I said to the boys, all right, I'll go and come on, I'll take you and get McDonald's for you. You know, so we left my house and I lived on Bunya Road. And as soon as I walked out the door, we seen a cop car come up the road. I said, boys, oh look, coppers are out. And they said, oh, you come back inside there. I said, nah, fuck it, we've done nothing wrong. You know, I'm only going to the bank, buy you kids McDonald's, they can't do shit. Walked out of my driveway, got pulled over by coppers. Next thing I know, there's about 6 cop cars there and I'm getting thrown through the fence and strip search. And then they, after the strip search, they turn around and says, oh, he does really live at that address. I said, I told you. It was out in front of my own house, mate. They threw me through my neighbour's fence. I wrote to the police complaints I threw and it come back to police done their job. It didn't justify throwing me through my neighbour's fence, stripping me in front of kids.
You know, say fight for your rights. Well, when someone's got no rights, how do you get to fight for them? That's where it's so difficult.
Well, the only reason we all go back streets and know all the back streets because every coppers try to hassle us all the time, and people and cars try to hit us over, and people just judge us because we're from Mount Druitt and stuff like that, you know. You gotta like get to know us and all that. That's basically why we know all the back streets and shit like that.
A community doesn't develop itself, it's got to work to hold itself together. And it takes a bit of pride from everybody in that community to do it.
Respect. I think we all should start doing it. Everyone should do it. Most of all our people, because that's the first thing we learn from our elders, was respect.
At the end of the day, we are all together in this, and people need to look at it that we all are together, we're all on that one path being in Bidwill.
I too know the darkness. Vinyl spinning on an old record player, no more music to give. I've seen plates, glasses and knives break the night in two or more. warring parents on the attack.
My mum being a migrant woman, didn't have a lot of opportunities, coming from her history, her parents, were really traumatised and didn't speak English, and, my dad he wasn't that great. But they really were trying to get ahead, and that's why they moved here. And there wasn't a lot of talk about where you were from. No one talked about where you were from and what's your history. So I actually felt like I didn't have a history and I didn't have a culture. We were shunning all our parents' cultures and we weren't interested in it. And as a result, for me personally, definitely I lost my identity really.
Well, at the age of 9, I was locked up in a home for naughty children because I was uncontrollable. Not the fact that I was abused as a child, just the fact that they considered me just uncontrollable. I got shifted to Queensland to my dad. From there we moved to Western Australia. From there we went to South Australia, then back to Queensland again, and I ran away and moved back to Sydney. I made my own way by sleeping on the streets at one stage and then just working my way through life until I had my kids. And then I gave everything up for them. And I was a drug addict and I was an alcoholic. By the time I was 24, I was diagnosed alcohol poisoning twice and almost died. And I no longer drink and I no longer take drugs. My drug is cigarettes, and that's it.
Yeah, I went away and got in trouble. Spent a holiday overseas, as I call it, in a different state. But I always come home.
The Underpass is a tunnel, and a tunnel is a mix of memory and shadow. Memory is a cave born from one, but occupied by many. We are all time travellers. We want to be here, there and elsewhere. The rich and the poor dream the same, with their eyes closed and their hearts open.
Well, it's pretty fun and all that because you got no one hassling you and you're just enjoying the air, open freedom, and it's just relaxing, it just gives you time to think and get you a bit of space around, and it's just, especially when you've got a big hill, just go straight down, that's mad. That's when it gets more fun and interesting and all that, You hurt yourself, you hurt yourself.
Try too many things, I go from one to the other. I can't fit them all in, or settle on one.
Well, I got onto a board for charity in Old Mount Druitt called CMP, and they were looking for someone to give them a hand to retrieve some food one day, so I sort of jumped in and said, yeah, I'll give you a hand, And from there I ended up being the person to go out all the time and just retrieve the food. Oz Harvest used to send us everywhere, mate, to retrieve food and bring it back and hand it out amongst our churches and charities or whoever was screaming for it at the time.
Well, one day I will own my own house again. I've done it once, I can do it again. I gave up everything to try and keep a roof over my head and my son's head. And then I had the other 2 children and I had to keep them going. I could have been like everyone else and got depressed because I got divorced. I celebrated. I had my life back. I got rid of an idiot who used to bash me. And that's all I knew growing up was getting used and abused. So of course I ended up with an abuser. And when I had enough, I decided enough was enough.
If there was a decent bike track around here, kids would go on it and skate park for their skateboards and stuff like that, scooters, motorbike tracks and stuff. So we'll all have fun and we all pretty much stop doing what we're doing, and if we've got something around here, we all got something to do.
I suppose when I moved to Bidwill, I found the church. I don't go to church. I do a lot of volunteer work at the church. It's my safe haven. If I feel upset or depressed a little bit, I go straight to the church and I'm picked up. I like doing things for the community. I took a lot out of the community when I was younger and didn't appreciate anything. And now that I'm older, I see a lot of the kids out there that are like I was when I was younger, don't care about their community. And I'm thinking, sit back thinking, one day you'll appreciate where you're from.
I got no problems with anything other than I need my kids to come home. And I can get on with my life, otherwise I'll just be fighting for my kids all until, they come home.
I think the one thing that people don't understand is that agencies coming out of area, council workers coming out of area that live in the North Shore, for instance, the only people who really have a sense of what to do in the area and how to go about things properly in the area are the people that live in the area. And that at the end of the day is what needs to be focused. And everyone loses sight of this because of the stigma attached to Bidwill, and it's crap.
And I believe if we can get more food into the area, which will take a lot of stress off the parents, which will mean there's less stress on the kids. There'll be less arguments at home, because a lot of the arguments at home, through my experiences, why kids end up at my place is, quote, no food, or mum and dad are arguing because there's no money for food. So we can eliminate that, not turn around and say, we'll give you your groceries each week. That's not the deal. The deal is when you're down and out, which we all have, you can come to your local pastor, tell him your story, no one else. And it's up to him to how much money you can spend in that shop with his discretion.
Don't go out there angry. We've done it too many times. When you're yelling at a person, what can they hear? Just loud voices. You sit there talking like I'm talking to you. Different story. You can hear me better, can't you? And I'm not coming over angrily, but I'm telling you my hurts. That's the difference.
There is an underpass of sorts in all of us. A place where we take refuge from the traffic and the noise, where we reflect, where we listen to the echoes of those around us and our own. We stand in the underpass and look behind and in front. The path is hot, the journey sometimes difficult. But in here, shade gives time for reflection, for making plans, and a chance to strategise. And in here, it's also a place where people are brought together.